Welcome to Dreamed It, Then Real Lifed It, the podcast where we dive deep into the journey from vision to reality. I'm Kelly Jackson, your guide on this path of self-discovery, transformation, and intentional living. Here, we explore everything from mindset shifts and personal growth to spiritual alignment and entrepreneurship, sharing insights, stories, and actionable wisdom to help you live a life in harmony with your dreams. Every episode will dig into what it means to not only dream big, but to actually consciously create the life you envision. Let's turn your dreams into real life. One year ago, I sat down to record the very first episode of this podcast. If you listen to that episode, you will actually know that the very first episode of this podcast was originally recorded in 2020, 5 years ago. And then 1 year ago, which was 4 years later, is when I recorded the first episode that you actually heard, that is uploaded to this podcast. And I didn't know where it would go. I didn't know how it would grow or who it would reach. What I did know and could not ignore any longer, 4 years was long enough, was that I needed to say yes to the pull. It felt like stepping forward without a map, only a knowing, and somehow that was enough. And now here we are, 1 year later, a podcast with thousands of downloads, listeners in multiple states and countries and continents, messages from people who say this show has helped them feel less alone, more seen, more supported, more themselves. And I am still in awe of what we have created together. This episode, this 1 year anniversary episode, isn't really about looking back, though. This is a threshold moment. We're standing at the doorway of year 2, and I want to talk about where we're going next, who we're becoming, what this space is evolving into, and what I feel unfolding in the collective. Because this podcast has never just been about entertainment. And if you're listening, I know you know that. It's always been a home for transformation. I want to acknowledge how fantastical and magnificent and growth-centric this first year has been. Not for me personally, for all of us, for every one of us listening. This year has been momentous. This year has been magical. This year has been transformative. This year has been challenging. This year required you to dig deep and to really ask yourself the big questions. and be willing to sit with yourself as the answers reveal themselves. If you're here, if you've been tuning in, if you're tuning in right now, I know you know that you've had a remarkable year, that you've really overcome some things, you've really stepped into a whole different version of yourself, and you've embraced change. You might have resisted it a little. Ultimately, though, you've embraced it. And this podcast, if you've been listening and tuning in and following along, this is mirroring back to you your own journey. And so this has been here to support you as you've been on this journey, this awesome roller coaster ride of a year that it's been since 11/11 of last year. And this episode is dropping on November 10th. Last year, 11/11 is when it launched. That was a Monday. This year, 11/10 is a Monday. Tomorrow, if you're listening to this on the day it drops, will be 11/11. What a great day for manifesting. Now, this episode feels very celebratory for me because we are celebrating how far we've come, and we are celebrating this moment we are in right now, where we're not living in the past and we're not thinking about the future. We are simply enjoying this moment. We are living inside of an old dream. Do you remember the days when you dreamed about the things you have now? Take a moment and breathe that in. Yes, you have arrived. You are here, right now. You are the embodiment of all of this work you've been doing, all of this intention. Right now, feel that. Feel that moment. Feel that gratitude for every single thing that you have overcome and that you have endured and that you have come up against, that has not broken you, it has not stopped you, it has not prevented you from being in this moment, right here, right now. So this does feel like a celebratory episode. And I also want to celebrate all of the amazing things that are on their way to you right now. This whole energy of this moment is one of excitement and anticipation and embodiment and contentment. Contentment for where we are right now, and excitement for what's to come, and gratitude for what's behind us. Here's what feels real to me right now. We're in a moment when playing small is no longer an option. The old ways of shrinking and pleasing and hiding and numbing and distracting and pretending are exhausting. And they're starting to feel impossible to maintain. You can feel it. The gap between who you've been and who you are becoming is widening. And this next chapter, matters because your life will reflect the identity that you choose from here. Your subconscious mind will never outperform your self-image, who you believe yourself to be. And your subconscious mind runs the show. 95% of everything you do, say, and think is coming from the subconscious mind, which is why this next chapter matters. And it's going to reflect the identity that you choose from here. If you stay in old patterns, you will recreate the same results, the same relationships, the same self-talk, the same cycles of burnout or doubt or almost but not quite. However, if you choose to step into your becoming, into self-love as a lived practice, into alignment, into ownership, into truth, everything changes. This isn't just the second year of a podcast. This is a new era for you and for us. And if you're here, you're ready for it. I want you to think of it this way. If year one was about remembering who you are, year two is about becoming who you're meant to be. Embodiment. If we keep playing small, we will stay stuck in old identity loops. If we numb, avoid, distract, delay, we repeat the same lessons over and over. This is Earth School, after all, and your soul does have a curriculum. If we choose self-love and integration, everything shifts. This next chapter matters because who you become now shapes every part of your life going forward. 1111. 1111 means your thoughts are rapidly becoming reality. Thoughts become things, words create worlds. I did not choose 1111 as the date to launch the Dreamed It, Then Real Lifed It podcast on accident. That wasn't a coincidence. Everything is energy. Numbers hold energy. The number one, the repeating number one, is a highly energetically charged number that lets you know that your thoughts are becoming things, and to be mindful of what you are thinking, because thoughts becomes things. Year two, 1111, this is why it matters. This next chapter, because again, who you become now is going to shape every part of your life going forward. Get excited about that. Feel excited about that. We are entering a new season, and the decisions that we make now, they're shaping who we're going to be by the end of the year. If we keep operating from old stories and old fears and old patterns, we'll create the same life again next year. If we say yes to growth, to honesty, to self-love and practice, not just in theory, truly in practice and embodiment and lived daily experiences, everything changes. And this next chapter is not just going to be another year of episodes. It's the year that you're going to step into your next identity. And I'm going to be here for you, supporting you. Beyond this being the 1-year anniversary of Dreamed It, Then Real Lifed It, this truly is a threshold And threshold moments are where identity shifts happen. So here is my promise for year 2 of this podcast. We're not doing surface level self-love. We're not talking in inspirational catchphrases, buzzwords, feel-good quotes that fade by the time you turn off the podcast. We are going deeper. We are integrating. We are practicing self-love as a lived identity, not a concept. This year, the conversations get richer. The storytelling gets more intimate. And the growth gets more embodied. We're talking real life application, how to love yourself when your nervous system is activated, how to stay grounded when life is lifing, how to meet your shadows with compassion instead of fear, how to trust yourself in seasons of uncertainty, how to build a life that feels good in your body, not that looks good on your vision board. Year 1 was remembering who we are. Year 2 is embodying that. Inside Self-Love Uni and inside this podcast, we're not just learning, guys. We're rewiring, nurturing, practicing, integrating, aligning. This is the year that you stop admiring the idea of your highest self and you actually embody it. Fully, totally, completely embody it. Listening to this podcast, the fact that you've been tuning in, this is supporting you in your life. At this point, we've got 57 episodes for you that you can at any time go onto any platform and they're archived there. You can go through and see what do you need right now to best support you on your journey. And they've got titles that give you a little clue, and then you can always click and read the short description there. And then there's always a couple lines pulled out of the podcast to give you an idea of, is this something I want to tune into? Some of the podcast platforms actually even auto-generate the transcription, so you may even be able to read it to get a little idea if you want to tune in. It's there to support you in your life and on all the topics. And it's here to align with your current season of self-evolution. That's what I'm saying. So the fact that this is archived and at any time you can go pull up something that will support you. Maybe you have a favorite episode that you tune into more than once. I know I have things like that. And or maybe it's you're going through something and it's like, let me see if she's got an episode on that. Check it out. And look, if there's an episode you want to see covered that's important to you, send a message, reach out. Would love to hear what you want to hear more of that we can talk about. Because this space is becoming what you need it to be. This is where year 1 was, again, for you, for me, it was remembering who we are and deciding, okay, we're now this is, we're becoming, we've got something going here. Year 2 is where we stop consuming inspiration and start living it. You know, this is not self-love as a concept. It's self-love as a daily identity. And all of this we love ourselves. We show ourselves how we love ourselves by the way we show up for ourselves. There was a moment this past year that I haven't really talked about, but it did change everything for me. And I remember it clearly. I was with one of my mentors, and they had tuned into one of the episodes, and we were talking about the podcast, and they were giving me some insight on ways I could improve the podcast, ways I could bring more authenticity, more of myself into this and serve value in a way that would land and resonate with you, with the audience. And keep in mind, I'm coming from the fact that I'm even doing this and using my voice. This in and of itself took years of subconscious mind work, of confidence work, of belief system work to even arrive at the place where I said, yes, I can do this, and I am doing this. So, and I 100% acknowledge the fact that I'm a newbie. I'm a beginner. I do not have background in any sort of media or the podcasting or radio or anything like this. This is all me deciding, feeling the call, answering the call that a podcast was a path that I was being called to. This was a way that I was meant to show up in this world, use my voice, use my experiences, and raise the vibration of love, help others on their journey. This is something I was meant to do. But I'm learning as I go, and I've acknowledged that I know that there's so much room for growth. Does that mean that I shouldn't show up, that I shouldn't have pressed record that first time because I wasn't ready? No. It just means I'm okay with knowing there are going to be some mistakes, some hurdles, some obstacles that I will one day go back and listen to the first year of the podcast and possibly cringe going, oh my gosh, did I really sound like that? Yeah, I did. I do, whatever. That's okay. But you got to start somewhere. And what is that saying? You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So you pivot and you adjust and you calibrate along the way, and you get advice and feedback and insights from others, and you apply that. And so that's what this journey has been. And I recall being outside, beautiful day with this mentor, and we were talking about the podcast, and they gave me some advice, some insight about, after listening and tuning in to two episodes, not two episodes, but after tuning in to multiple various episodes over the course of the time that I had been recording, and with the intention of wanting to help me to be the best I can and to reach my full potential, they offered some advice. And in that moment, I realized something. I wasn't just making a podcast. I was shaping a new version of myself. Up until then, a part of me was still asking, is this working? Does this matter? In that moment, I felt, not just thought, I felt the shift. I realized that this podcast was calling me into my full potential, into my highest self, into, again, this next version of myself. And to integrate the advice, the feedback that my mentor had given me was going to require the next level of me. And my growth edge, my comfort zone edge, all of these things were being challenged. And I had to decide, am I going to accept the challenge? This is what it takes. And the meaning that came through was, this is who I am now. Not becoming, not trying, being. That moment was the proof, not proof in numbers or in charts or external validation, but proof in identity. I could feel my nervous system settle. My body recognized before my mind did. That was the moment I crossed the threshold. And that's the moment I will look back on years from now and say, that's when the new era began. This was something that happened more recently in the last handful or so of episodes, and the timing naturally was divine because it got me ready for year 2. This was something with the momentum of the first year coming to a close and the excitement of the second year and the anticipation of year 2 upon us. It was the time for the shift to happen. And I was able to take nearly a full year of lessons and challenges and wins and experiences and emotions and ups and downs and ebbs and flows and all of the things, and then take everything that this mentor shared, this conversation we had, and everything, and then integrate that and start to see how I could take that and apply it and use it to create the best possible podcast listening experience for you. I love this idea that we are growing alongside one another, that while you are growing and expanding and evolving on your own journey of life, health, wealth, relationships, business, I'm doing the same thing right here alongside you. And I'm going to continue to focus on growth and expansion, embodiment and integration, and continued education so I can continue to show up for you and be somewhere that you can absorb the good energy, receive some new ideas and perspectives, and do it in a way that feels really good for all parties involved. Me on this end showing up and serving, and you on your end receiving what we're here doing. There are a couple things that I wanted to mention because these are some facts that show that the momentum is real and shared. Not just with me, guys, all of us here, we are in the multiple 4-digit downloads before year 1 is even up. That is wonderful. I'm very grateful for all of you who have been tuning in. I think this is fantastic. Multiple shows with 3-digit listens. We've got, you guys are DMing or messaging or sending in all the ways, all the different places, messaging saying, this feels like coming home to myself. I feel like more of myself. This is really helping me. And you're giving examples of certain episodes. Sometimes you're just saying in general. Guys, thank you for sending those messages. They mean a lot. I love hearing you. I love hearing from you and what you have to say and your experiences. And if you ever have anything that you want to, an episode that you want us to dive into, send a message about that. I would love to hear. This whole thing didn't happen because of algorithms or luck. It happened because something in you, the listener, said yes to growth. And thank you for being here. I'm excited you're here. I'm grateful you're here. You did this. You did this. Something in you did this. So, speaking of growth, let's talk about the vision. What is coming in year 2? I want to cast the path forward for you. So here is what I know about year 2 of this podcast, about the version of you who is here listening. We are not here to repeat old cycles. We are not here to stay small, to dim, quiet, or careful. We are not here to protect old identities that were built on survival. Year 2 is about becoming more expressed, more self-led, more grounded in your worth, more honest about who you are and what you want. This podcast is going deeper. We're going into the embodiment of self-love, way beyond the concept of it. We're going into nervous system attunement, into identity expansion, into the energies of receiving, into the soft, powerful art of being fully yourself. And we're going to have bigger conversations about shadow work, self-trust, identity shifts, energy shifts, healing your voice, loving yourself in real time, accepting yourself, choosing joy even when no one else taught you how. This is the year where you stop shrinking to fit old versions of yourself, and you stop negotiating your worth, and you stop waiting for permission to be who you were meant to be, who your soul came here to be. This is the year where your life begins to feel like it matches your spirit. And we're doing it together. In community, in conversation, in love. You were never meant to heal in isolation. The next era of this podcast is an invitation to rise, to soften, to allow, to express, to receive, to remember, and to return to yourself again and again and again and again. This is the heart of what year 2 will be. More embodiment, more storytelling, more real world integration, more conversations that shift identity, not just your mood. It's going to be bolder, it's going to be softer, it's going to be truer, more grounded in love, more authentic. You can expect deeper episodes, more personal shares that we can draw from, more metaphysics, definitely, and more real world, or rather real life application. More episodes that feel like activation, not consumption. More guests. So when I started out the podcast originally, before I even launched it, my idea for the cadence was to have like every 3 or 4 episodes to have a guest, which would come out to be about 1 guest per month. What ended up happening with year 1 is I had 4 amazing guests, which comes out to be about 1 a quarter. If you have not tuned into the guest episodes, definitely do that. 4 total. And year 2, we're going to have more guests. I've already gotten more than 1 booked for year 2. What I am going to go back to was what I said last year is just not the way it worked. I really enjoy the guest episodes, so we're going to see what we can do about getting more guest episodes and returning to the original plan of the cadence of a guest every 3 to 4 episodes, which would be around 1 guest a month, since our episodes do come out every Monday. All right. In year 2, I want to go deeper with you. Not just in audio, but in presence too. So I'm introducing a new video series called Unmasked. These are intimate, sit-down conversations, raw, grounded, real, where I talk about the things that we're actually moving through in real time. No filters, no performance, no polish, just truth, integration, and the real work of becoming. This is going to be on Instagram for right now. We'll see if we may add it to our YouTube channel. That's to be determined. But for now, this series, Unmasked, is going to be something that we're going to be releasing on Instagram weekly, a weekly series. And these are real conversations for the becoming era. I have had a good bit of people ask, well, or when they find out about the podcast, they'll say, oh yeah, I can't wait to watch. And I'll say, well, it's not video podcast yet. It's only audio. But because people were asking, requesting, it is just not starting year 2 off going completely video. It's not where I am in my business and my plan and where I am yet. It is in the long-term plan. It's just not how I was starting year 2 off. However, I realize the importance of this, and I do like the idea of the presence, which is why we arrived here at this Unmasked series. This is going to be a nice transition from the podcast being audio format to it transitioning to a video format podcast. In between, which is where we're starting year 2, there's going to be the addition of the Unmasked series. This is not going to be clips from the podcast. This is a separate set of conversations that is only being recorded in video for the Unmasked series, which again will be on the Dreamed It Then Real Life Did Instagram page. So be sure you're following that. We may end up adding it to our YouTube channel. Again, we're just going to see about that. It'll happen, but we'll see when it happens. And beginning in year 2, we are going to be shifting from just consuming growth to living in rhythm with it. So I'm going to be sending out the moon letters. This is 2 emails each month on the new moon and the full moon. And they're not newsletters, guys. They're reflection space. They're integration, soul nourishment, a place to breathe and remember yourself. They'll be part of the What You Want community because this is bigger than the podcast itself. It's a movement of people who are choosing self-love and alignment and a life that feels like theirs. So make sure you are on the Moon Letters list so you receive the next one. There's going to be a link in show notes on how you can sign up for that. Now, in addition to the Moon Letters, which this is going to be starting again, all of this, even though that's the What You Want community, all of this is happening at the beginning of year 2 of the podcast, okay? Because keep in mind, What You Want is my company, okay? It's the brand, the big brand. Within that, we've got the podcast, which is what you're tuned into now. And then we've got Self-Love Uni, of course. Now, I want to let me give you a little bit about the structure. So, What You Want is about integration, reflection, embodiment. The podcast episodes, like you tuning in here, this is about activation and expansion. Okay? This happens weekly. Self-Love Uni, which I invite you into in every one of these episodes, this is for deep identity shifts and guided transformation. There is evergreen access. You can always get into Self-Love Uni. However, we do have enrollment cycles where we're doing different things. We've got one coming up. January 15th, we'll be starting the next group coaching container. I'll be getting you ready for that. You can join Self-Love Uni on your own at any time. If you like the idea of doing it together with a group inside of a community, then we've got a new group coaching container that goes through Self-Love Uni that's going to be starting up on January 15th. If you want to get in on that group coaching, you can enroll now and you will become part of that community and get access that only people who have enrolled in Self-Love Uni have access to a whole community, which is not on social media. It is my private community within the website. Okay, so it's not on social media. And you're going to be getting access to lives and to some talks and to all kinds of awesome content that only people in Self-Love Uni have access to leading up to the group container. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you understood that that was possible. Now, the Moon Letters, that's going to be for the What You Want community. That's going to be being sent out twice a month, the new moon and the full moon. Now, there's something new that's going to be starting, though, with the podcast, with the Dreamed It Then Real Lifed It email list. This is going to be the Sunday Spark. The Sunday Spark is going to be once a week max. You're going to be getting this on Sundays. So because our podcast episodes drop on Monday, this is going to be an energizing, brief little email, 45 to 60 second read, guys. Quickie, that's going to set you up for your week. So the podcast email list, you're going to get the Sunday Spark, a weekly email sent out on Sundays, simple, actionable, 1-minute read max. Then we've got the What You Want list. This is the moon letters. This is sent out on the new moon and the full moon. This is going to be deep, reflective. It's going to help you integrate identity. The Sunday Spark, the podcast email list, it's light, it's energizing. It's going to help you take action. They feed each other. They're going to help you in different ways. My recommendation is to subscribe to both lists. One is sent twice a month, the new moon and the full moon. One is sent once a week, the Sunday Spark. Those are brief, 45 to 60 seconds. The one that's sent on the new moon and the full moon, which is the moon letter, those are going to be more deep and reflective, and it's going to help you integrate with your identity. Okay? Now, I will have links in both, or links to sign up for both in the show notes, of course. And let's keep going. So I was telling you everything we've got coming. So we've got deeper episodes, more shares, more guests, the Unmasked video series. Oh, okay, I just thought of something else. So we got the moon letters, which is for the What You Want community, and the Sunday Spark, which is for the podcast community. We're also going to be, the blog, the podcast blog is officially launching/relaunching. I don't even know what you want to call it. But when I started this last year on 11/11, I was doing it all on my own, and doing all my companies, being a mom, just doing all the things. And I was choosing to do it all on my own for a while, very intentionally. And a couple months after launching the podcast and realizing that at this point, I had to bring someone else on. I wanted to do it myself for a while, for many reasons that we're not going to get into in this episode. And a couple months after launching the podcast is when I realized it is time. The growth and expansion, I cannot, nor do I want to continue to do all of this without a team. So I began the hiring process, began bringing on the team, and that was such a wise choice. But before I brought on the team, I originally wanted the podcast to have a blog post each week when the new episode came out. And it was with everything else I was doing in my life and in my businesses, and I was overwhelmed and I had to let something go. So I let the blog go. And always with the intention of revisiting it, but it was not the time then. It was too much on my plate, and I was prioritizing and making choices that were in alignment with the bigger picture. I'm always playing the long game, always looking at the bigger picture, always. If there's one thing you can be assured, it is that I'm always looking at the long game. Okay? Now, now that I have this amazing team, hallelujah, it's fantastic. It's aligned and I love it. And so now this is one thing we got coming for you in year 2 is the blog is going to be back and better than ever. What it was originally when I was attempted the first couple episodes to do it was I was really just taking the auto-generated transcript and uploading it to the blog. It didn't work well. It didn't work well because the transcripts, they're auto-generated, which means they are not edited. There's lots of typos and whatnot. And I wasn't creating the images for it. Blogging takes a good bit of work. Okay, guys, if you've not blogged before, you have to set aside time to do it. And my time was already allotted to other things, so I had to let it go. Now we've got a team that is able to help, that can take these audio episodes that I do and take the transcriptions, and they can actually help to edit them and create something that is consumable in a new, unique, different way, but that is inspired by the podcast. And then all of the things I talk about throughout the episodes that I shout out to, the links I talk about, the resources I talk about, those are all going to be linked in the blog post. So it's going to be so easy for you to head over to the blog and to access and be reminded of everything we talked about, any resources. It'll be like a little one-stop spot for you to get connected and get the resources you need, the help you need, the tools you need, whatever the case may be. Because sometimes we mention, like in one of the episode on triggers, for instance, we created a whole trigger quick resources kit, and it's totally free. It's a resource for you to have in your toolbox. We talk about that. It's linked in the episode. In the blog post, it's going to be right there. All you'll have to do is push a little button, okay? So this is going to be awesome. I just wanted you to know it was coming so that you could bookmark the page. It's on dreameditandreallifedit.us. That's the website for the podcast blog. And it's coming. It's happening. It's really happening. So year 1 is when I thought it was going to happen, and I tried, and it was not my best work. So I said, let me just pull back, and we're going to revisit this later. And so now I have the team, the tools, the structure, the time, the energy, the space, all the things. This is part of our rhythm and flow now. And I'm excited that you're going to be able to enjoy the benefits of the systems that we've put in place to be able to serve you better. So remember, my advice is sign up for both lists, for the Moon Letter and the Sunday Spark. Okay. So if this episode landed for you, if something in your body was like, yes, I'm ready for this level of self-honesty, I'm ready for this level of self-respect, I'm ready to become the version of me that I keep seeing in flashes, I keep experiencing in flashes for these little moments before it seems to vanish, disappear, elude me. I'm ready for that to be my the full-time version of me that I'm living inside of. Then I want you to hear me clearly. You do not have to do this alone. Self-Love Uni is where we take everything we talk about here, the identity shifts, the nervous system work, the shadow integration, the boundaries, the alignment, and we practice it in real time together. Because listening is powerful. Yes. Thank you for listening. This is powerful. However, living it is where your life changes. You can know something, but it's not until you integrate it that you really experience the change, the shift, okay? And if you're in a season of becoming, then this is your container. Self-love uni is not about becoming perfect. I'm not perfect, friends. Here to tell you. It's about becoming you. Fully, completely, unapologetically. It is for the version of you who is done shrinking, who is done abandoning themselves, done dimming your joy, your voice, your intuition, your bigness, your softness, your power. It is for the soul who knows it's meant to live in alignment, not just think about alignment, not just wish for alignment, not just dream about alignment. So if you're feeling the pull, even if it's scary, even if your mind is trying to negotiate or delay or overthink, trust the pull. This is your next chapter. This is your becoming era. This is your embodiment era. The link to join is in the show notes and in my bio, as always. And I'll see you inside. Because Self-Love Uni is always open. It's always open. You can join anytime. The door is wide open for you. If you want one-on-one coaching with it, you can check to see if that's available. The link's in my bio. If you want to get in and be part of the community and do this with a group that has the same goals, January 15th, starting the new year off right by prioritizing the relationship that you have with yourself, by making yourself a priority, by filling your cup, because you good and well know you got a whole lot of other cups to fill. And you can't do it if yours is empty. So you can join that group coaching now, and you can get inside of our private community and be part of that energy and momentum for the next nearly 60 days. Or you can join on your own anytime. Everything's in the show notes. Guys, 1 year of dreaming it, then real lifing it. It's been phenomenal for me. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear what your favorite episode was, what inspired inside of you, what woke up inside of you, what maybe was dormant and now is awake, whatever. What has this show, how has it impacted you? How has it influenced you? How has it supported you? I would love to hear what your experiences are. And I want you to know that I am committed to becoming the best podcaster that I can be, learning how to share my stories, my experiences, my knowledge with you in a way that resonates with you and that feels both entertaining, educational, activating, and like a big hug. I hope that this next year for you is your best year yet. I trust and believe that if you are tuned in to this right now, that is a really, really, really good sign that your dreams are closer than you think, closer than you realize, that you are living inside of some of them right now. And so stop and take a moment. Feel that gratitude. Gratitude is an elevated emotion, the highest vibrational frequency that there is. And let that elevated emotion become your new point of attraction, and call in all those things that are already yours from that new elevated state. Gratitude expedites the manifestation process. The more you are grateful for what you have, the more you will have to be grateful for. This is the month of gratitude, so let's end on that note, on being grateful for all the lessons learned in this first year, on all of the connections that we've had, on all of the stories we've shared, on everything that has led up to this moment, and grateful for everything that is yet to come. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here for one full year of dreaming it, then real lifing it. And I am grateful for you. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to Dreamed It, Then Real Lifed It. I hope today's episode sparked something powerful within you. Remember, every step you take towards your vision counts, no matter how small. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please take a second to hit that subscribe button or leave a review. That would be amazing. Or share the podcast with someone who's ready to bring their dreams into reality too. And if you're looking to dive deeper, connect with me on social media at Dreamed It, Then Real Lifed It, or at BE_what you want. Or visit dreameditthenreallifedit.us for more resources on aligning your life, business, and dreams. Until next time, keep dreaming and keep manifesting your dreams into real life. Love you, friends.